Fine. Yeah. Today's topper is Naman Goel. ఈ సంవత్సరం 30వ ర్యాంక్ సాధించారండి. మీరు ఒక్కసారి యూ కెన్ సీ హిమ్. మనకు ప్రతిరోజు ఒక టాపర్, ఒక సబ్జెక్ట్ ఎక్స్పర్ట్ వచ్చేసి దే ఆర్ గివింగ్ యూ ద టిప్స్ ఫ్రమ్ ద experienced background, like one expert is teaching about the subject and other side the proven, the successful civil services rankers and successful officers, they are also sharing their experiences, real time experiences. Uhalu kadu, it's not just a dream, daydreams la kadu. 30 years, 20 years, 40 years experienced civil servants also, they are sharing their experiences with us. Fine. So here with us Naman Goel. Just అందరం ఒకసారి నమన్ గోయల్ యొక్క ర్యాంక్ కి ఆయన ఎఫర్ట్స్ కి ఒక్కసారి అందరం కంగ్రాచులేషన్ చెప్దాం. ఎస్, అందరూ రాయొచ్చండి. చలో, Naman Goel to this session. For especially these Telugu background students, +2 plus graduation, and that your preparation journey. You can please, you can unmute and speak. Yeah. I think you are not able to unmute, right? Chalo, wait. Wait, I'll give you. Now? Yes.
Yes. Okay. Good morning, friends. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, sir, for inviting me to this meeting and session. I am Naman Goel. I have secured All India Rank 30 in the UPSC Civil Services Examination of 2021 this year. And I'm here to share my strategy and what has worked for me and my preparation journey with all of you people. I'll speak in English. I don't know Telugu, so I'll speak in English. Hope everybody is able to understand.
Yeah, no problem.
Yes. Okay.
We know. Otherwise, if anything difficult, I'll translate into Telugu sometimes. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So I'm Naman. I'm currently living in Mumbai, and I've prepared my preparation for civil services I've done from my home in Mumbai only. I started the preparation in January 2020. This was just before the COVID struck. I was in my final year of my college in 2020. I'm a graduate from IIT Bombay from chemical engineering, and I was about to graduate that year. So I decided in my final year of my college that I will prepare for the civil services because I have this motivation for civil services and to work for the society. So this drove me towards preparation for UPSC examination. When I started in January 2020, I started with basic books which are NCRTs of all the different subjects, and I started to make notes from these NCRTs, and simultaneously I started reading newspapers. So the only newspaper which I've read every day of my preparation journey is the Hindu. And I would recommend people to start reading papers like the Hindu or the Indian Express because they are very much required for the current affairs, and the content and the material that we get from reading the newspapers is directly used in various phases of the examination, be it prelims or mains or even interview as well. So I started in January 2020. Later in March, COVID hit, the prelims got postponed. So I got enough time to prepare my GS and my optional within the period of January and June of 2020. And post that, I started preparing for prelims 3 months prior to prelims. I could clear prelims. I scored 123 marks in prelims of 2020. And after clearing prelims, I started preparing for the mains examination. In the 3 months of mains preparation between prelims and mains, I completely focused on GS preparation and optional. So in my mains, I wrote the examination. The exam went well, but I could not clear mains. So that was the one biggest failure which I have experienced in my UPSC CSE journey. And the reason why I could not clear mains was very clear to me, because I realized that my optional was not very well prepared, and even my practice in GS answer writing was also not very good. So this I realized after my mains result, and I completely worked on improving my deficiencies in mains. So in 2021, I worked upon my optional. My optional is geography. So I worked upon geography optional between the mains result and prelims preparation for 2021, and completely realized what my deficiencies were, what were the issues, and corrected those issues, and then worked towards improving on them. I gave prelims, cleared that. I gave mains, cleared that. Interview preparation I did. I gave my interview, and finally I got rank 30 in UPSC Civil Service examination. So this was my journey in of preparation in civil services. In terms of what strategy I followed and what worked for me, I can tell that. So whatever I have learned is from listening to toppers. I've listened to many toppers, be it on YouTube, or I have followed the Telegram channels or the coaching material for learning what should be the strategy. So my strategy is like every other toppers strategy. I have fixed some of the books which I would follow throughout my journey, and I would not read many books. I would stick to a fixed number of books, be it 1, 2, or 3 books for every subject, and I would continuously revise each of the content which I'm getting from those books. So this was my the most important point that I followed during my whole of preparation journey, that not to read many books, but read selected books and read them frequently. Secondly, I believed a lot on making notes. So in my first attempt in 2020, I did not make many notes, but I realized that note making is very important, because number one, it helps you consolidate your all your content, because sometimes you'll be reading from 2 to 3 books. You'll also be having current affairs. And then if you don't have a consolidated notes, then it becomes very difficult to remember things. And secondly, to revise things also. So if you have notes, then it will be understandable to you, and it will be concise, precise, and consolidated. So and while making notes, I made sure that for each and every topic in the syllabus. So syllabus is very, very important for the whole preparation journey. You should remember each and every word of the syllabus. And while making notes, I made sure that for each and every topic mentioned in the syllabus, I would have 2 to 3 or 4 pages of some content on that. And my content would have facts, some of the different figures or diagrams which are required for that content, for each and every subject of that content. And I'll have maps, flowcharts, diagrams, advantages, disadvantages, concerns, issues, challenges, way forward, committee recommendations, anything which is required for that particular topic. I will have that in my notes, so that my notes is a consolidated form of everything which I need to write in the examination. So for example, if a question on food processing industries is asked, I would have my notes in which there will be facts on food processing industries. What are the different schemes for food processing industries? What are the challenges that the country faces? What are the future prospects? And so different things. So whatever the question is asked, I will just have to replicate that same point from my notes into the answer paper. So this was my strategy for making notes. And I made sure that for each and every topic in the syllabus, on each and every subject, I have notes. This was this second thing. Third would be focus on answer writing, because answer writing is one thing which will help you score good marks in mains. If your answers are not properly structured, or they are not, they do not have good content, it will be difficult to get good score. So for answer writing, I practiced a lot. And each and every practice, I made sure that my answers comprises of some of the basic things, such as the IBC format, which I think some of you would know, which is introduction, body, and conclusion format. So my introduction would be 3 to 4 lines. My conclusion would be 3 to 4 lines, and in between everything will be a body. In body, I would segregate and separate the body into separate different subheadings. Each subheading would cater to one part of the question. For example, if there is a question which asks what are the challenges or issues faced by the food processing industry in India, and what are the different schemes that the government is running. So first subpart would be the challenges, and the second subpart would be the schemes. So break your body into different subparts and subheadings, and under each subheading write 4 to 5 points. At least write 4 to 5 points. If you have more, then you can write more, but make sure that you write 4 to 5 sub points in each subheading, and total in total every answer can have 10 to 15 points. So this will help you write more. This will help the examiner to understand that you know the answer, and he will also give marks according to the number of points you. It's good to have more number of points, and he or she will give marks based on the content and the number of points that you have written. So this was my strategy for answer writing. So everybody would write good answers, but what makes an answer different of a topper or a good scorer from other people is the value addition that the person has done in the answer. I would make sure that in each and every answer, I will have some value addition in the form of writing facts, or making flowcharts, diagrams, maps, or maybe writing committee recommendations or any specific report which has any content on that topic, or mentioning some of the different schemes that the government is running. So add value to your answer, and if you add value to your answer will stand out from other people, and this will lead to getting half a mark or more mark, one more mark in every answer. So this will add up to 15-20 extra marks in your paper, and you will be able to score much better than the average scorer. So this is one very important thing. I will also talk about the current affairs. As I already mentioned, I have read on each and every day the Hindu newspaper. It is very important to read newspapers. I have made notes every day from the newspapers, and that notes I would compile into my static notes. For example, if there is static material on parliament or president or federal structure or anything. So, and if there is any current affairs related to the president or the parliament, I will add the current affairs into my static notes, so that there is consolidation of static and current affairs. And whenever there is a question asked on president, I would include a static portion as well. What are the different articles related to president in the constitution, and what is the recent current happenings? Because if you mention current happenings in some of the topics like polity, governance, internal IR, economy, agriculture, environment, these topics are very current oriented. So you have to have some sort of current affairs in your answers as well, so as to stand out and add value to your answers. Next thing I would emphasize is read a lot of topper copies, because toppers of last years, they have written some of the tests in different coaching institutions, and they are easily available. So read them, understand how they write the answers. I used to devote a lot of time every day on reading and understanding what are the toppers copies, what do they write, how do they structure the answer, how is their answer better from mine. So this has led me to understand how to write a good answer and what is the content that is required in each and every answer. So if you will read the toppers answer copies, you will realize that, okay, your understanding of this topic is much less than what topper is writing in the answer, or your understanding is equal to the toppers. So you will have a better judgment of your own answers. Apart from that, you will have a better understanding of how to structure a good answer, how to write a good answer. So toppers copies are very important. Read toppers copies of GS 1, 2, 3, 4. Read toppers essays, and also read toppers optional, whatever.
Naman, I think little bit fast it is. Your voice is going fast. Let us catch you, because maybe online. So be slow.
Oh, okay, sir. I'll so these are some of the things which I have done. I'll also talk about current affairs. Again, current affairs, I have talked about reading newspapers, but one thing which is very important is reading monthly magazines. Different coachings institutions, they provide monthly magazines, and these monthly magazines, they are very important to supplement the readings of the newspapers, because these monthly magazines will have static material, they will have some background to the topic, and also cover the current affairs. So in this way, you will have better understanding of a lot of topics, especially in polity, economy, environment, which can be directly completed from reading this current affairs magazine. So these also are very important. So these, more or less, this was my strategy for GS related topics. Some of the things which I would also like to emphasize is maintaining your physical health and doing exercise regularly. During the last 1.5 years, I made sure that I'll exercise regularly, be it running or cycling or walking, whatever you can do. But do it regularly because it will make you healthy. It will reduce your illnesses. It will reduce your anxiety, make you confident. And in the meantime, you will feel rejuvenated. So always make sure that you are not only studying, but also spending some time on your hobbies or doing exercises or doing meditation or some of these things. So this is also a very important part of the whole UPSC preparation journey. So this was my strategy more or less for GS related topics. For optional, I would not spend most time because many people would not have geography optional. But geography as a subject, choose geography as an optional if you haven't chosen any of the optional, only if you have interest in that subject. Because having choosing an optional in which you don't have interest, then it will be difficult for you to follow the optional or to read the optional for 2, 3, or maybe more years. So always have good amount of interest on that. Secondly, make sure that the content of that optional is available through coaching institutions or in the market. Thirdly, the optional can benefit you in GS. So it is not to say that science optional or optionals from engineering, they are not good, they are very good. But if you have some of the humanities optional, they can benefit you in GS preparation as well. Next, I would say that optional, there should be good guidance available in the form of different teachers or toppers who can guide you for that optional. So that is also very important. But see of different parameters before choosing any optional and make sure you take the right decision. There is no such thing that any optional scores good or any optional is bad. Every optional is equally good. You can get good marks in all the optional, and the only prerequisite is you have to have a lot of hard work. I realized that my marks in optional of UPSC 2020 paper was very low. It was just 208. So I realized that I have to work a lot on improving my optional marks. And this time I have got 272. So that is an increase in marks of around 64 marks. So that is a very good amount of jump in marks. And that was only possible because I realized my mistakes in optional, and I did everything possible and did a lot of hard work to improve that, to fill out that deficiencies. So that was about choosing an optional. If I talk about geography in particular, geography is a vast subject. For reading, for completing the optional, you need to have a good amount of reading from different standard books. And you can also join coachings. They have foundation courses. But for geography optional, you need to read some of the important books such as Savindra Singh, which are for physical geography, and D.R. Khuller for Indian geography. Similarly, there are different books for human geography as well. So I think I would not spend a lot of time. If somebody has any specific question on geography optional, then he can ask. If I talk about book list of GS which I have studied, so I will go one by one. For history, I have done for history, ancient and medieval history, I have followed the old NCRTs, of Satish Chandra and the other, I think R.S. Sharma. So I have followed these two old NCRTs for ancient and medieval history. For art and culture, I have read from class 11th NCRT, Introduction to Indian Arts or Fine Arts. I have also read Nitin Singhania's notes. And thirdly, I followed CCRT website for reading art and culture. For modern history, I have only done from Spectrum. Spectrum is a good book to follow. You need to make notes because it's a very bulky book, and there is a lot of content on that book. So you have to make notes from that book. Spectrum is a good source. For world history, I have read from previous year toppers notes because I did not have enough time to make notes of world history. So I read Shayan's Kumat sir's. He's rank 4 in 2019. He has notes. And similarly for post-independence history also, I've read Nitin Sangwan's book on post-independence history and Shayan's Kumat sir's notes. If I talk about society, I haven't read any specific book except sociology books of 11th and 12th, and mostly followed from current affairs, because society is mostly a current affairs related topic, and you can understand different topics like caste or woman, religion, etc. from reading from current affairs sources and NCRT. Geography is my optional, so I haven't done something very particular for geography from GS perspective, but the commonly followed sources are the 11th and 12th class NCRT. Even 6th to 12th class NCRTs of geographies are very good. Secondly, GC Leong is a very good book to understand physical geography, and current affairs is again important for geography. With respect to polity, I have solely relied on Lakshmikant. Lakshmikant is a very good book to follow, standard book, and Lakshmikant should be read word by word. Each line should be revised multiple times, and I followed only Lakshmikant and added value to different chapters in Lakshmikant through current affairs, which you can follow from any coaching institution. Governance and social issues, I've made notes of these topics from different coaching materials. They are available online, so you can pick up any of the coaching material and make notes of health, education, poverty, hunger, governance, e-governance, all these topics. These are small topics. Make notes out of them and just revise those topics again and again from your own notes. IR, international relations, is a completely current affairs based topic. I have followed newspapers, and you can also see some of the YouTube videos of Sunset TV or different channels like Vion. They have good coverage of international relations, and just supplement your current affairs with some of the static material which you can get from different coaching institutions. Economy in GS3, I have done Mr. Ramesh Singh's books. It is good, but more important, it is to read 11th and 12th class NCRTs of economy, especially macroeconomics and microeconomics. These are books which are well written, and especially NCRT books are very well written, and they cover a lot of things. Supplement these with the economic survey of last 1 or 2 years, the budget document, and the schemes that are the government schemes that are available through different coaching institutions or through government websites. So follow these material for economy, similarly for agriculture as well. For environment, Shankar's book is very good for covering static portion. And for the current affairs, again, read the newspapers and the monthly compilation of different coaching institutions. Disaster management is again, read NCRT of disaster management, and NDMA guidelines are also very important, because NDMA guidelines are directly asked for some of the major disasters like landslides, tsunamis, earthquake, floods, etc. So read the NDMA guidelines and understand what are the different guidelines that NDMA is providing. For science and technology, it's mostly current affairs based, but if you have a non-science background, then read 11th and 12th class biology book selectively. It is good for both environment and science and technology. And also there are static material available of different coaching institutions. So read that so that you have basic understanding of science and technology. Internal security, there is no specific good book to read for internal security. It's just Google all the topics, all the syllabus material, such as organized crime or money laundering, cyber crime, social media issues. So all of these topics, just Google, and there'll be different coaching institutions you can understand and read. Make your notes out of for these topics. For ethics, again, ethics is a very important paper and a very scoring one, because it does not require a lot of efforts, and the score is also good if you put in a sufficient amount of efforts. For ethics, I would emphasize on making a table or a large, or make your own notes such that every word of the topic in the essay it is clear to you, and for every word have a definition. You can find the definition from the internet or reading different books like lexicon or coaching materials, but anywhere you can find the definition. For each and every word have examples. So for example, if you are writing on compassion or you are writing on integrity, so have examples of some of the civil servants who have done some compassionate work, or civil servants who have shown integrity. For example, you must be aware of collector of Kozhikode. He was compassionate. He was called compassionate. He was a very compassionate person, Mr. Prashant Nair, IAS officer. So you can write his example in compassion. Similarly, integrity, there are many examples of IAS officer like Ashok Khemka or Kiran Bedi. So the collect examples of these civil servants from internet or from different books and write them in your notes. Secondly, also have examples of some great personalities. Gandhiji's examples, Vivekananda or APJ Abdul Kalam, or many such examples you can quote of Indian and global leaders who have shown different values which you study in ethics. Also have your own personal examples. So for example, if there's a question on integrity, identify whenever in your life you have shown integrity or you have shown compassion or you have shown empathy. So leadership, any of these different topics in ethics. So make your own personal examples, and this will complete your ethics to a larger extent, because whenever there will be a question asked on any of the topic, you can just write the definition in the introduction, and in the main body you have to write a lot of examples, and these examples would help you in writing good answers in GS4 paper. So make sure that apart from reading some of the coaching material or some of the book on ethics, make sure you make such a table, and in each of these table you can have many examples which I just put. So these are the different books or reading materials that I followed for GS preparation. I think I have completed most of what I wanted to. Maybe you can ask any questions if you have.
I think the books list is really impressive, because before the toppers last 4-5 days we have been attending so many toppers sessions, but you have given a beautiful detailed list. That's good. Nice. And we welcome any queries, doubts and questions from our students. మీ దగ్గర నుండి క్వశ్చన్స్ ఏమున్నా అడగండి. Naman sir is ready with answers, experience తో కూడిన ప్రాక్టికల్ ఆన్సర్స్. తను ఏ బుక్స్ అయితే లిస్ట్ చెప్పాడు ఎగ్జాక్ట్లీ మీరు నోట్ చేసుకున్నారో లేదో, అదర్వైజ్ యూ కెన్ వాచ్ దిస్ వీడియో ఆన్ యూట్యూబ్ అగైన్. బట్ ప్రిపేర్ ఏ బుక్ లిస్ట్. 100 books చదవద్దు. You don't need to read many books. Here, reading limited books, unlimited times is important. Not reading unlimited books, limited time. Right? So, how do you feel this session? First of all, just మీరు మీ ఒపీనియన్ చెప్పండి. ఎలా ఉంది సార్? ఎంత చక్కగా క్లియర్ గా. Actually, he didn't give us chance to ask any doubt, any questions, so he covered maximum. Right? That is the way how we have to speak. Yeah, మీరు ఎప్పుడైనా మాట్లాడే ఛాన్స్ వచ్చినా కానీ first of all you have to give your speech or whatever that, then they should not get any question. ఆ రకంగా మన స్పీచ్ ఉండాలండి. That's you can get it from Naman. Yeah. Great, inspiring, superb, so nice of it. Yes, nice. Right. How to set mind in the exam hall. How to set, somebody is asking about the mindset, that means exam behavior for preliminary and mains. The exam behavior as a person, generally we get tensed. So how to overcome that stress? How did you feel in your second attempt or first attempt?
Okay.
Yeah.
This whole UPSC journey and exams in particular, they are all game of managing your emotions. So if you are able to manage your emotions well, you will excel in this exam. That's for sure. So for example, I will talk about prelims. Many of the students who, even knowing a lot of things on, knowing a lot of content in prelim, they are not able to do as good as they could have, because they are their mindset during giving the examination is not what is required from a civil servant. So I made sure while giving both the prelims that you need to be confident, you need to be calm, and you need to remove all the anxiety. Because if you are confident and calm in while giving prelims, then it's sure that you will give good prelims and your marks would be very good. Because in prelims, it's not so much about knowing or having good knowledge or having good content. It is about the mindset in the examination, in which if you are able to eliminate some of the options, if you are able to recognize which are the questions which you have to leave, or if you are able to recognize which are the two options which should be right and which are the two options that are definitely wrong. So this is the mindset which comes if you practice a lot. So talking about mindset in prelims, practice many times, give as many mock papers as possible, and this will make your mind less anxious, and you will give a actual prelims examination just like any other mock paper. So you won't feel very different, or you won't have the exam stress while giving the prelims examination if you have already given 30, 40, 50 such prelims mock papers of different coaching institutions. So this is for prelims. For mains, it's slightly different. Mains requires a lot of writing. You have to write long answers very quickly, and you have to finish the paper in time. So what it requires is easy recollection of your knowledge. So if you have revised your content, your notes many times, you have revised your content 10, 15 times, then the content will, or the answers will come naturally to you. You will be able to write answers so easily and very effortlessly in the answers in the actual paper, that you will be able to better manage your time. You will be able to write whatever you have thought of or whatever you have prepared, be it facts, figures, diagrams, maps, or committee recommendations or schemes, or anything which examples which you have prepared. So revision is a key in mains. Revise as many times as possible. Again, give many mock papers for mains, because if you give many mock papers, you will have practice of writing good answers. And once you develop that practice of writing good answers, it will automatically come to you in the mains paper. Secondly, don't become anxious or tensed about difficult questions in mains. There will be two or three difficult questions in every paper, and it is difficult for everyone. So don't think so much about those difficult questions. Target the easy ones, target the moderate questions which you have prepared really well, because those are those questions which will fetch you 60% marks or even 70% marks in your mains and optional papers. So have very good content, have very good answers for that easy questions. And even if you write below average answers or average answers for one or two difficult questions, it is completely fine. Don't fret over or don't be anxious for those difficult questions. They'll be there, and they'll be there for everyone. So have a positive attitude, be confident, and be confident that you will clear the examination, be it prelims or be it mains. And if you have this confidence, you will be able to write very, very good answers. So I think this is the mindset which is required while giving papers.
Yeah. Then in mains, is cursive writing useful, or sometimes if our handwriting is not legible, how to improve that? Is it compulsory write in letter to letter, or cursive writing is also okay? That's a small question from Didi.
I think the writing of your answer is relevant up to the fact that the examiner is able to understand. If the examiner is able to understand the answer which you have written without keeping in a lot of efforts, then it's fine in whichever language you write, in whichever handwrite, whichever cursive or capital or way of writing you write. The only objective is to have the examiner understand your answer well. So
that should be legible. The examiner has to understand your language, so your handwriting. That's enough.
That's enough. You need not have very flowery language or handwriting, or you need not have very good handwriting to impress the examiner. It's just required so that he can understand your answers well.
Right. And here one more question about interview. So whenever we go to interview, we feel definitely some kind of tensed or low confidence, because we don't know what happens. Generally, most of the successful candidates also, they say that luck, So how did you face your interview, and what were the toughest questions you faced in interview?
During the interview preparation, one thing is very important, and it is to prepare your DAF, which is the detailed application form, thoroughly. So each and every word in your DAF, be it from your educational background, your home state, your city, your work experience, your optional, or your hobbies, or anything you have written in the DAF, it should be well prepared. So if you have prepared each and every word in your DAF well, then you are confident that you will be able to give your interview in a good manner. Secondly, which is very important, is to have good understanding of the current affairs in your interviews. So current affairs which are going, especially in the last 2-3 months, you should have very deep understanding. And for deep understanding, you need to have 2 to 3 newspapers which you will read every day. So read a newspaper like Hindu or the Indian Express. Also read Times of India. Read newspapers like the Economic Times or the Mint for economic news. You can also read local newspapers for local news. So have very detailed reading of newspapers, more detailed than what you have read for mains and prelims. And this will be very handy and very useful in your interview preparation. Regarding my interview, I had prepared really well for my DAF and different things. Even though I prepared very well for DAF and current affairs, but my interview was on the lines of factual nature. So this is one thing for interview, that you are not very sure what will be asked in your interview, and you would never know what the examiner or what the interviewer is thinking, or how you are performing, or they won't give any expressions, or they won't compliment you for good answers, or they won't look very disappointed from your answer. So you won't be able to know how is your interview going. But talking about my interview was mostly on factual lines. I was asked some of the questions which we study in economy and even environment, all these things. Questions were asked like, what are the different provisions for teacher training in the national education policy? What do you mean by consumerism? What are the different consumer acts that the government have to protect the consumers? What are sustainable development goals? What are the different schemes that the government is running for attaining sustainable development goals? Some of the current affairs questions were also there, such as what is the China's zero COVID strategy? Is it successful? Should India also replicate that strategy? Or what is the India space program? Why did the Chandrayaan-2 was not successful, or why did the rover was not able to land on the surface of the moon properly? So these were the different questions that were asked. These are mostly factual in nature from different GS papers that we study. But what is more important than answering these questions well is to maintain confidence and calm in the interview board. Because if you are able to display confidence, you are able to display structuring of your answers, you are able to display integrity, you're able to display different values which are associated with civil servants during our interview, you will get good marks. It does not matter if you have answered the questions well, or if you have not able to answer some of the questions. It does not matter that much. What matters is how do you respond to the question. If you are anxious or not, if you are confident or not, if you are able to structure well. So these are the things which are analyzed in your interview. And I think interviews, again, a lot of practice. You have to give mock interviews, you have to talk to people, you have to sit in front of different IAS officers. So that is again a lot of practice required in the interviews.
Yeah, that's good. And yeah, any questions? Still no doubts? Questions? Yeah, I think if you are senior aspirants, definitely you would have more doubts. I think they are beginners more, so they have to see the depth of the exam still. So yeah, how to utilize the time and the planning, how it should be, the time management from graduation, or what is the right time to start our preparation for civil services? Yeah.
There is no such specific right time. Whenever you think that you want to prepare for civil servants, or you have that inner motivation that you want to become a civil servant, it's a right time. Some people start preparing in the second, third, or fourth year of their college, and they don't take up job and directly start preparing for civil services. That is also completely fine. Some people, they want to have some work experience prior to joining civil services, so they have 2 to 3 years or more years of work experience in some company or anywhere, and then they can leave or start preparing while in the job. So all of these are right. The only requirement is that you should be inner motivated. You should not find motivation outside, but you should have motivation from inside. That why do you want to become a civil servant? Why do you want to go into this career? Will you be able to dedicate your 1 or 2 or even more years of life preparing for this examination? So if you have this confidence, if you have this inner conviction, your conscience says that you want to prepare, then every time is right. There is no wrong or good or bad time.
Yeah, somebody is asking, sir, reading NCRTs are compulsory, or can we get the same information from class notes or any other author's books?
Reading NCRTs is always advisable, because the writing format in NCRTs is so simple that it will be very easy for anybody to understand what is written. And if your concepts, if your fundamentals is not clear, if your fundamentals of polity or economy or society or geography is not clear, then it will become very difficult in the later part of your preparation to understand those difficult topics. So NCRTs, it provides you that easy understanding of topics, even though the coverage is less, but the fundamentals become clear. Secondly, there are some questions which are directly asked in prelims, in mains, which you can easily answer from reading
Exactly.
NCRTs. So always read NCRTs, but make notes out of those NCRTs, because if you read NCRT and mark in the NCRT, then you have to open that NCRT again 10 times. Whenever you revise, you have to open that NCRT, and it will consume more amount of time. So just read once, make notes out of the NCRT, and then revise that notes again and again, so that you don't have to open that NCRT again and spend more time reading that NCRT. So I would advise read most of the NCRTs and make notes. It would hardly take much time, because they are concise and they are small to read.
Yeah. Akash is asking how to start the preparation with. Do we have to read the books then take coaching, or directly can we join in coaching? What is the better way?
I think you can directly join coaching, but always supplement your coaching material with books, especially the standard books, because it is always difficult for any coaching institution to cover 100% of the syllabus. And some of the things might get left, or some of the current affairs, they keep on adding. So it is not always possible for every coaching to cover each and every topic. And for that, reading books is mandatory. So supplement your coaching material notes with your standard books, and whatever might have left, if anything is left from the coaching, then just add it into your static material. So it is always advisable to read parallelly the coaching material notes as well and the standard books.
Yeah, that's great, because actually having an idea is good before joining in coaching. If you have some idea, you can have more acquaintance with the subject, so you can directly get the crux of the classes. So that's better, no problem. Without any preparation also you can start it, but you have to be focused more. You have to refer the books, right? Yeah. What else? Any other questions? Done? All doubts are done? Yeah. Tejaswini is asking, sir, right now I'm working. I completed my BTech. I'm interested in civil services. So what is the best way? Should I continue my work, and can we prepare for civil services while working, or should I take complete, like I resign my job and I focus on civil services? What is the best way? Can you suggest me?
Even though I don't have experience of working and preparing for civil services, but from my friends and different people I've met, it is possible to simultaneously work and prepare for civil services, but it becomes slightly difficult because you have to manage time for job also, and you have to manage time for studying also. And civil services is one thing which will require a lot of dedication and reading each and every day. You have to read 10 to 12 hours or even more each day, especially when the prelims exam is getting closer or when the mains exam is getting closer. So at that point of time, it becomes slightly difficult to cope up with the job. So I would recommend, if you have no other option but to do the job simultaneously, then you can do that. But if you have an option of leaving the job and preparing solely for civil services, then it is always advisable and beneficial to have clear cut and sole preparation, full dedicated preparation for civil services.
Okay. Upender, where is your answer, your question, Upender? I'm not getting. Without NCRTs, already we have asked Upendra. Yeah, done. Any other queries and questions, doubts, please? Sir, why did you choose geography as an optional? You are from geography background, or why did you choose?
I am from an engineering background. I don't have any background in geography, but I chose geography purely based on my interest. So I always liked reading maps, atlases, and during my school days also, I always loved reading geography books. So that was a natural choice for me to choose geography. For students who are confused on what optional they want to choose, see the list of all the optional that you have in the UPSC. Select a few, maybe 4 or 5 different options that you think you are comfortable in these options, or you will like to read these optional. If you have a small list of 3, 4, 5 optional, then start reading NCRTs of those options. So for example, if you have thought of choosing sociology, then read sociology books, NCRT books. If you have thought of reading choosing anthropology, then read books like Sapiens. It's a non-fiction book. So read books like Sapiens or any other basic material, or watch some YouTube videos. So in that way, you will have a basic understanding of what that optional is and would you like that subject. So optional should be one subject in which you have a lot of interest. You can read it all day, all month, every day, because optional is something which you have to read every day for many years, for 1 or 2 or more years. So having interest is very important, and gauge your interest based on reading of different optional subjects that you have shortlisted. So this is the general best way of choosing your optional, and then whatever parameters that I mentioned earlier, you should look into the guidance available, notes and materials, marks that the optional has gotten in the previous years, all of these things overlap with the GS.
Exactly. Sometimes they choose some literature background, they are also getting ranked. So that means they are spending extra time on that, which is not covering in GS.
Yes. It's always, there is no relation between, if there is no overlap in GS and optional, then you won't get good marks. There is no such things. People with physics, maths, engineering subjects, all literature subjects, or subjects like law or the subject, they are getting very good marks. So there is no such thing. It's just your interest with parameter while choosing your option. So have good interest in whatever optional you choose, because that will lead you into getting good marks at the end.
Yeah. Sir, actually, what kind of mistakes you committed in the previous attempts, and how you overcame, how you identified them? First of all, we have to identify in that particular area I committed mistake, or I have to rectify. So how did you recognize them, and how did you overcome these mistakes? What are the differences of your the preparation differences on the previous attempts and this attempt?
So this one thing of identifying your mistakes and rectifying is very important in the whole preparation journey if you have to progress. If you don't identify your mistakes and keep on committing that same mistake, then your marks won't increase. It would remain stagnant and you won't be able to clear this examination. For me, when I could not clear the 2020 mains, I realized that probably some portion of my optional was not well prepared, and that could be one reason why I would have scored very less marks in my optional. Secondly, I knew that some of the topics in mains, especially some of the smaller topics like governance or society or ethics, internal security, these are topics which are not covered in prelims. So these were also the topics which I did not make notes out of. So I knew that I have to make notes of these things. I have to cover whatever was left in my optional. I have to focus more on answer writing. Essay is one portion which I did not prepare at all in my 2020 attempt, and I got very low marks in essay in my 2020 attempt. So I knew that I have to prepare on essay. So I dedicatedly spent many days writing essays and preparing content on essays. So that worked me for this attempt because I increased my marks drastically in essay this time. So these are the things. You have to identify your mistakes. You have to find out where you are going wrong, see your mark sheet, see your prelims questions which you are making. Some of the students might have weak areas in history or geography or economy. So whatever your weak areas are, identify that. See the questions which you have committed wrong in prelims, and in mains also you have not written well. Read more on that. Make your understanding more clear and crisp. If you have good understanding, then your answers would reflect that. You have good understanding of a topic, your answers would be very good on that topic. So find out the mistakes, find out the deficiencies, and work on that. That is the only thing to improve in this examination process.
Niharika is asking, sir, generally interview question it is, why did you prepare for civil services? And is it your childhood dream, or when did you get this inception of preparation for civil services? Is it during schooling or college, or when did you start this thought?
So I did not have childhood dream for preparing for civil services. My aspiration to become a civil servant only started in my 3rd and 4th year of my college. Before that, I was never keenly interested in joining civil services. And the reason why I thought of joining civil services in my 3rd and 4th year were because of the internship that I did. I realized that working in the private sector is not very fulfilling to me, because for whatever work I did in the private sector, I was not contributing directly to the society. My work was helping the company make money. My work was helping me make money, but it was not helping the society become a better place to live for the people. Or it was not helping me connect to the masses of the country. So this was something I found missing in my internship and my job. So I realized that this is something which civil services provide. Apart from that, I worked in an NGO in my initial years of my college, and I realized that I really enjoyed working with the NGO. So that was another social service sector which I explored, and I really liked working with the NGO. And this led to me deciding that probably I am better suited towards civil services, or I could better be satisfied with the type of diversity that civil services provide, or with the kind of job satisfaction and working with the people, among the people, and for the people that the civil services provide. So these are the major reasons.
Yeah, Ajay Sunkapaka is asking a question like, sir, generally civil services is for the intellectual students from childhood, the class toppers only, they have to prepare for that. So as we are from millennial or mediocre, maybe some backbenchers or average students, can we clear this examination because we are poor in some basic standards of schooling education? Can we start and prepare for civil services?
Yeah. So civil services is one such examination which has complete equity and equanimity among all the people. It does not have any bias or any discrimination between what is your background, what class, or what different strata of the society that you belong to. It will treat each and every person equally. I have seen people who are from top colleges, they being the IITs, IIMs, AIMS, or top colleges of DU. They have struggled for 4-5 years or more, or even couldn't qualify for the examination. And there are people who are from very humble background, very little resources that they have with their disposal, or could not have a good educational background, but they are still able to clear in first or second attempt. So there is no such thing as having a good intellectual background to clear this examination. The only requirement is to have patience, perseverance, dedication. If you have these three things and you do a lot of hard work, then this examination would not be a hurdle for any kind of person from this country to become a civil servant. It just requires a lot of, you have to work continuously for many days, for each and every day, and you have to make sacrifices for example, if you want to watch movies, you have to make that sacrifice, or if you want to attend ceremonies, you have to make some sacrifices. But that will be paid off if you have worked a lot, if you have been patient, if you have hard worked. And that is something which this examination provides, which probably no other examination provides so much.
Yeah. That's great session today. Really amazing session. Thank you, Naman. Thanks a lot. And really the good interaction, and of course the experience is also really practical. Generally, the toppers come and they on YouTube, they exaggerate their preparation, but it is so humble and clear, crystal clear preparation strategies you have given here. Thank you very much. All the best for your next career also. See you in Missouri, right? Chalo, thank you.
Thank you, sir, for inviting me and helping and guiding all the aspirants.
Yeah.
Be happy. You can also join me in whatever capacity you can. Sir can share my number if anybody of you wants to.
Yeah, definitely. Just I'll share your email ID so that they can directly contact you.
Definitely.
No? Okay. Thank you. Yeah. Bye.
Thank you so much.
Yes. Bye. Yes. How was the session? Ela undandi? Naman Goel 30th rank. Ee samvatsaram. Ante eppudu 10 ఏళ్ల క్రితం కాదు. Just this year fresh rank. ఎలా ఉంది సెషన్? Is it useful? మీకు ఉపయోగపడిందా? మహేంద్ర ఈజ్ సేయింగ్ సార్ కొంచెం ఇంగ్లీష్ లో ప్రాబ్లం అయింది. ప్రాబ్లం అవ్వద్దండి, అవ్వాలి కూడా. లేదంటే ఎట్లా చెప్పండి? మనకు చిన్నప్పుడు నేర్చుకోలేదు ఇంగ్లీషు, మన టీచర్లు చెప్పలేదు సరిగా, ఇప్పుడు మనము నేర్చుకోలేదు. తెలుసో తెలియకో ఇంగ్లీష్ మీడియం అని చెప్పుకుంటూనే ఇంగ్లీష్ మీడియం చదువులే, కానీ ఎవరికి ఇంగ్లీష్ రాదు. అది పరిస్థితి. ఇప్పుడు ఇలాంటి ఎగ్జామ్ వచ్చినప్పుడు అమ్మో నా వల్ల కాదు, నాకు ఇంగ్లీష్ రాదు అని చెప్పి మనం పారిపోయే పరిస్థితి. సార్ కొంచెం తెలుగులో చెప్తారా అని అడిగే పరిస్థితి. తప్పు కాదు, ఐఎమ్ నాట్ హోల్డింగ్ యూ ఆన్ దిస్. దీన్ని నెగిటివ్ గా నేను చెప్పట్లేదు, కానీ సిచ్యువేషనల్ గా మనం ఆ టైంలో నేర్చుకోలేకపోయాం ఇంగ్లీష్ అనేది. మీకు తెలుసా ఇంగ్లీష్ అనేది ఎంత ఈజీ సబ్జెక్టు? జస్ట్ 45 to 60 days మీరు కష్టపడితే ఇంగ్లీష్ నేర్చుకోవచ్చు. 60 days మీరు కష్టపడితే 100% షూర్ అండి. 60 days మీరు కష్టపడితే 100% యూ కెన్. నేను ఆల్రెడీ చెప్పాను, మన దగ్గర ఇంగ్లీష్ బ్యాచ్ ఒకటి ఉందమ్మా, ఓన్లీ సివిల్ సర్వీసెస్ గ్రూప్ 1 అండ్ కాంపిటేటివ్ ఎగ్జామ్స్ వాళ్ళ కోసమే. మిగిలిన వాళ్ళు కూడా జాయిన్ అవుతారు. చాలా మంది, వందల మంది టీచర్లు జాయిన్ అయ్యారు. వందల మంది, దాదాపు 700 మెంబర్స్ దాకా టీచర్సే జాయిన్ అయ్యారు. సో ఇంగ్లీష్ బ్యాచ్ అనేది మనకు ఈ June 10th అంటే ఈ రోజు రాత్రి స్టార్ట్ అవుతుంది 8 PM కి. ఎన్రోల్ చేసుకోండి. ఒక 5 days వినండి. మీకు నచ్చి, మీకు నిజంగా ఇంగ్లీష్ నేర్చుకుంటున్నాను అనుకుంటేనే కంటిన్యూ అవ్వండి, లేదంటే లీవ్ ఇట్. దెర్ ఆర్ సో మెనీ ఇంగ్లీష్ ఇన్స్టిట్యూషన్స్ ఇన్ ద కంట్రీ, బట్ దిస్ ఈస్ ద బెస్ట్ వే. మీరు ఒక్కసారి జాయిన్ అయిన వాళ్ళని అడగండి. ఓకే, ఇంతకు ముందు మన ఇన్స్టిట్యూట్ లో ఆ రివ్యూస్ ఉంటే చూడండి. బట్ డోంట్ మిస్ ఇట్. 8 to 9:30 నైట్, ఈవినింగ్ అండి. డైలీ మీరు వర్క్ చేస్తున్నా, మీరు కాలేజీకి వెళ్తున్నా, ఏ స్కూల్కి వెళ్తున్నా, జస్ట్ 1.5 hour డైలీ ఖచ్చితంగా మీరు ఇంగ్లీష్ మాట్లాడతారు. ఈ రకంగా ఎక్కడ కూడా సార్ నాకు ఇంగ్లీష్ రావట్లేదు, ఇంగ్లీష్ అర్థం కావట్లేదు సార్ ప్లీజ్ తెలుగు చెప్పండి అనే ఛాన్సే ఉండదు. దట్స్ ఐఎమ్ షూర్. ఓకేనా? యా, మీకు ఆఫీస్ నెంబర్ తెలుసు కదా. ఆఫీస్ నెంబర్ కి మీరు మెసేజ్ పెట్టండి. ఏమని పెట్టాలి? మీ పేరు అండ్ ఇంగ్లీష్ అని పెట్టండి. నేమ్ అండ్ ఇంగ్లీష్. మేము ఇది లాస్ట్ టైం బ్యాచ్ లో ఒక బ్యాచ్ లో చెప్పానండి. నేమ్ అండ్ ఇంగ్లీష్ అని పెట్టండి అని చెప్తే ఎవరో నేమ్ అండ్ ఇంగ్లీష్ అనే పంపిల్లు. వాళ్ళ పేరు రాయమని, దాని మీనింగ్ తెలుసా? వారి పేరు ఇంగ్లీష్ అని చెప్పేసి మన ఆఫీస్ నెంబర్కి రాయండి, మెసేజ్ పెట్టండి వాట్సాప్ లో. ఆఫీస్ నెంబర్ తెలుసు కదా, తెలుసా అండి, తెలీదా? Where is it? Madam. Yeah, I'm writing here at least 90000222737. ఈ నెంబర్కి మీరు మెసేజ్ పెట్టండి, మీ పేరు ఇంగ్లీష్ అని చెప్పేసి. ఈ రోజే నైట్ 8 o'clock కి సెషన్ అటెండ్ అవ్వండి, ఫ్రీగానే అటెండ్ అవ్వండి. ఓకేనా? మీకు నచ్చితేనే ఎస్ నేను నేర్చుకుంటాను అనే తపన ఉంటే, పట్టుదల ఉంటే అప్పుడు మీరు కంటిన్యూ అవ్వండి, లేదంటే యూ కెన్ లీవ్ ఇట్. ఓకే, ఫైన్. He has such a great thinking way, sir. Shrita, then Suresh, goosebumps class, great actually. Tejaswini and Riddhi, simply superb. Redmi, superb sessions. Thank you. Thank you all. Especially ఏంటంటే మన ఉద్దేశం టాపర్స్ యొక్క ప్రాక్టికల్ గా వాళ్ళు ప్రిపేర్ అయిన స్ట్రాటజీస్ మనకు చెప్పడం. ఇక్కడ మేము చదువుకున్నప్పుడు నాకు టాపర్స్ తో అసలు రిలేషన్స్ అంటే కనీసం వాళ్ళతో కాంటాక్టే ఉండేది కాదు, కనీసం వాళ్ళని కలిసే ఛాన్స్ కూడా ఉండేది కాదు. ఎప్పుడో ఇంటర్వ్యూ వస్తే చూసే వాళ్ళం అంతే. కానీ ఇప్పుడు మీకు డైరెక్ట్ గా టాపర్స్ ని కనెక్ట్ చేసే ఒక అవకాశం మాకు వచ్చింది. మీరు ఊహించుకొని నానా ప్రయోగాలు చేసి వేస్ట్ చేయకండి. నేను చెప్తాను ఎగ్జాక్ట్లీ వాట్ ఈస్ ద బెస్ట్ వే అనేది మీరు ఫాలో అవ్వండి. డిఫరెంట్ గా ఒక 2 years పెట్టండి. 10th క్లాసు, ఇంటర్మీడియట్, డిగ్రీ మొత్తం 14, 15, 16 సంవత్సరాలు పెడుతున్నారు. ఒక్క 2 సంవత్సరాలు సీరియస్ గా పెట్టండి. యూ కెన్ సీ ద డిఫరెంట్ లైఫ్. సార్ 2 ఏళ్ళు నా వల్ల కాదు అంటే అస్సలు రాకండి. నేను చెప్తున్నాను కదా సార్, నేను ఇట్లాగే నేను ఏదో గల్లీలో బతికేస్తాను అనుకుంటే అలాగే ఉండండి. డోంట్ కమ్ హియర్. సివిల్ సర్వీసెస్ అనేది ధైర్యం చేసేటోళ్ళ కోసము, సొసైటీలో ఒక రోల్ ప్లే చేయాలనుకునేటోళ్ళ కోసము. అంతేగాని సార్ నాకు 2 సంవత్సరాలు చదవడం నా వల్ల కాదంటే డోంట్ కమ్. సింపుల్ గా మీరు ఇతరుల స్టోరీ చూడండి అంతే. ఒక IAS అధికారి వస్తే సార్ నమస్తే అని చెప్పి పెట్టే పొజిషన్లో ఉండండి. మీరు IAS కావద్దు. ఓకేనా? చాలా మంది అవసరం సొసైటీకి. నాకు రీసెంట్ గా ఎవరు అడిగారు, సార్ 2 ఏళ్ళు అంటే మన వల్ల అయిద్దా, మన వల్ల కష్టమేమో సార్. కష్టమైతే ప్లీజ్ రాకండి అని చెప్పా. వద్దొద్దు. మనకు అందరు IASలు అయితే మరి నమస్తే ఎవరు పెడతారండి? మనం నమస్తే పెట్టేటోళ్ళు కూడా కావాలి కదా. ధైర్యం అందరు చేయరండి. కొందరు చిన్న చిన్న పనులు చేసేసుకొని పెద్దవాళ్ళని నమస్తే పెడదానుకుంటారు. ఉండనియండి అట్లాంటి వాళ్ళని. మనం మాత్రం బెస్ట్ కు ట్రై చేయాలి. ప్రయత్నం అని చేద్దాం, రాకపోతే ఆ తర్వాత. ఓకేనా? కొందరు అంటారు సార్ నేను క్లాస్ సెకండ్ కాదు, ఫస్ట్ కాదు, అసలు ఎక్కడో లాస్ట్ బెంచ్ అంటారు. లాస్ట్ బెంచ్ అయితే ఏంటి? మీ లాస్ట్ బెంచ్ అక్కడ ఎగ్జామ్లు ఎవ్వరు చూడరు. మీరు చిన్నప్పటి నుండి ఎన్నిసార్లు ఫెయిల్ అయ్యారు, ఎన్నిసార్లు పాస్ అయ్యారు ఎవ్వరు చూడరు. ఎగ్జామ్ లో మార్కులు తెచ్చుకోండి. ఎగ్జామ్ లో అవుట్ ఆఫ్ 1750 మార్క్స్ మెయిన్స్ కి, 275 మార్క్స్ ఇంటర్వ్యూకి, ఈ 2 కలిపి మీరు ఒక 1000 మార్క్స్ తెచ్చుకొని మీరు IAS అయిపోతారు. 50% మార్క్స్ మొత్తం 2025 మార్కులు అండి. 2025కి 1000 మార్కులు తెచ్చుకోండి, సగం మార్కులు తెచ్చుకోండి. దట్స్ ఎనఫ్. దే డోంట్ సీ యువర్ బ్యాక్గ్రౌండ్, దే డోంట్ సీ యువర్ నేను యావరేజ్ స్టూడెంట్. ఒక్క ఎగ్జామ్ మార్కులతో సర్వీస్ కొట్టుకుని వెళ్ళిపోయేటప్పుడు నేను యావరేజ్ స్టూడెంట్ అయితే ఏంటి? నేను ఇంటర్వ్యూకి పోయినప్పుడు నా ఇంటర్వ్యూ బోర్డులో నా చుట్టూన్న నా ఫ్రెండ్స్ ఎవరంటే, ఒక అతను ఇంటర్నేషనల్ స్కూల్లో చదివాడు, ఒక అతను ఎయిమ్స్ లో, ఒక అమ్మాయి IIT టాపర్, ఒక అతను అయితే ఫారెన్ లో చదివి వచ్చాడు మొత్తం ఇది హార్వర్డ్. నన్ను అడిగారు మీరేం ఏ కాలేజ్ ఏ స్కూల్ అని హైగా. నేనేం చెప్పాను సింపుల్ గా జెడ్పీ స్కూల్, గవర్నమెంట్ ZBPS స్కూల్, మా ఊరు మానుకోట. అది కూడా ఇంటర్నేషనల్ స్కూల్ అనుకున్నారు వాళ్ళు. అదేం కాదు, ZBPS అంటే లోకల్, చంటి లోకల్ అన్నట్టుగా మాస్ అంతే. బట్ ఐ వెంట్ ఇంటర్వ్యూ, ఐ వాజ్ సో హ్యాపీ బై సీయింగ్ దాట్. నేను వీళ్ళతో పోటీ పడి వచ్చానా. చాలా మంది నా ఫ్రెండ్స్ కి ఇంటర్వ్యూస్ కూడా రాలేదు. ఇది చాలా హైఫై బ్యాక్గ్రౌండ్. కొందరు IIM అహ్మదాబాద్ లో చదివిన వాళ్ళు కూడా ప్రిలిమ్స్ రాలేదు. గుర్తుంచుకోండి, కృషి ఉంటే మనుషులు ఋషులు అవుతారు, మహాపురుషులు అవుతారు. ధైర్యం ఉన్నోందే అండి ఈ రాజ్యం, ఈ దేశం. మీకు ధైర్యం లేకపోతే ఇంకెవరు ఏం చేయలేరు. 1-2 సంవత్సరాలు ధైర్యం చేయండి. యూ కెన్ సీ ద డిఫరెన్స్. థ్యాంక్ యూ. ఆకాష్ విల్ గివ్ యూ ఆల్. మన ఆఫీస్ నెంబర్ కన్సల్ట్ అవ్వండి, విల్ గివ్ యూ the Naman Goel's email ID. Okay, now right now I didn't get it. Okay, fine. Chalo, thank you. We'll meet you tomorrow, same 10 o'clock with a new topper. ఇక లోకల్ టాపర్ ని పిలుద్దాం. ఇప్పుడంతా మనకు ఢిల్లీ, బాంబే, ఓకే, హరిద్వార్, యూపీ నుండి వస్తున్నారు కదా, లోకల్ టాపర్స్ వస్తారు. అందుకే లాస్ట్ లో వాళ్ళ సెషన్స్ పెట్టాం. లోకల్ టాపర్స్ అండ్ మనకి ఇంకా పాలిటీ, ఎకానమీ, సైన్స్ అండ్ టెక్నాలజీ, ఈ సబ్జెక్ట్స్ పైన కూడా మనకు ఎక్స్పర్ట్స్, ఫ్యాకల్టీ సెషన్స్ ఉంటాయి. ఫైన్. యా, మీరు వీలైనంత మంది ఫ్రెండ్స్ కి షేర్ చేసుకోండి, వాళ్ళందరినీ కూడా జాయిన్ అవ్వనండి. ఇట్స్ ఫర్ ఫ్రీ. ఈ రోజు సాయంత్రం మాత్రం ఇంగ్లీష్ క్లాస్ లో అందరూ ఉండాలి. ఎవరైతే తెలుగు మీడియం అంటారో, ఎవరైతే ఇంగ్లీష్ మీడియం సగం సగం చదువుతారో అందరూ జాయిన్ అవ్వాలండి. మన ఇన్స్టిట్యూట్ నెంబర్కి వాట్సాప్ లో పెట్టండి మీ పేరు ఇంగ్లీష్ అని. యా, థ్యాంక్ యూ.